This PowerPoint should help you prepare for the Chapter 10 through 14 online test. There are about 10 multiple choice questions for these chapters and also about 8 problems. You should also be prepared to handle questions from each of the Caesar's Palace problems that we worked on. You will need to be able to recall each of the 4 responsibility centers. You need to know a basic definition of each and what the financial aspects are that each one measures. You also need to know how to measure some of these. So you need to be familiar with and be able to use some of the tools that we would use in order to measure these 4 responsibility centers. This is our contribution margin income statement. You need to be able to calculate the contribution margin, and you also need to be able to calculate and understand what the segment margin is and how the segment margin is used. You will need to be able to calculate the variance on performance reports and identify whether those variances are favorable or unfavorable. You will need to be able to calculate these 3 financial performance ratios: return on investment, sales margin, and capital turnover. You also need to understand the cause and effect relationship of these ratios. So for example, if operating income goes up, how does that affect the sales margin? Or if assets are reduced, how does that affect the return on investment? You need to understand standard costs, where they come from, and how they are used. You need to be able to calculate direct material variance, direct labor variance, and manufacturing overhead variances. You will be given a list of changes that have affected cash, and you'll need to identify those as either an operating activity, investing activity, or a financing activity. You'll also need to identify whether that activity has increased cash or decreased cash. You'll need to be able to create an indirect method cash flow statement from balance sheets. And you also need to understand how a cash flow statement reflects the cash that goes in and out of the business. You can see with this example here that the cash is pretty representative of what we would consider normal, in that the majority of cash is coming into the business provided by the operating activities. In the analysis portion of the test, you'll need to be able to do horizontal analysis, vertical analysis, and ratio analysis. Here we have a common size income statement. The common size income statement is built off of the sales figure. In a common size balance sheet, it is built off of the total asset number. To create these common size financial statements helps us in analysis because it provides an apples to apples comparison for year-to-year analysis, which is horizontal, and even vertical analysis. Here you can see all of the problems that will be on the test for chapters 10 through 14, and also the Caesar's Palace chapters that will be highlighted on the test.